I really believe what I do. So in terms of who I am, it's just about a progressive journey of becoming the best version of myself. You've got to do things that you say you're going to do. You've got to keep the contracts you say to yourself and actually do them instead of not doing them. Don't let anyone sway you, get in your head, believe in yourself. You can achieve anything. It was 2018 when I first started to hear about rent-to-rent service accommodation. At that point in time, I was in the 9 to 5, the rat race, working a job I didn't like, and I was ultimately highly unfulfilled. And it comes to that point, regardless of the money you're making, regardless of how good the job is, if that core thing is just itching where it's not you, then you come to that crossroads. You either do something about it or you carry on living your life down there. I was happy to try the risk, and it turned out it was.
Hello and welcome to the Diaries of Success podcast. I'm Hajar Bayaz, I'm your host, and today I have an amazing guest. I've been chasing him for quite some time, but you know what? There you go. So my guest today has done wonders in the property industry. He has been managing over 150 properties in a very short time, outsourced hundreds of properties in also a very short time. Without any further ado, I am so honoured to be having Sean Collie with me.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Look forward to dropping some gems, sharing my knowledge, value.
Amazing.
And again, absolute privilege to be here. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Shaun. So can we just speak about who Shaun is?
Who Shaun is.
Very good question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a deep question, really. So yeah, really good question. Who is Sean Collie? Well, I'm a property business owner, personal mindset coach as well. But on a deeper level, it's just a case of I'm disciplined, consistent, and I really believe what I do. So in terms of who I am, it's just about a progressive journey of becoming the best version of myself.
Nice.
So yeah, and to top it off, like I said, the property side, business owner is the cherry on the top, really. So personal development is first, but business is a big important thing.
Beautiful. Well, when people sometimes look at us when we are in property and we're sharing our journey, they think, oh, it's all about working. It's all about hustling. We're not like that, right? We do have lives. And this is what we're going to tap into today, right? So how did you start in property and why property?
Yeah, so again, really good question. So it was 2018 when I first started to hear about rent-to-rent service accommodation.
Right.
So looking on YouTube, went to a couple of crash courses, and then I got involved because I almost thought it was a bit too good to be true.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, I was in the 9 to 5, the rat race, working a job I didn't like, and I was ultimately highly unfulfilled. So for anyone watching, if you're in that position where you feel unfulfilled, you feel like you've got more to give and nothing's happening. Yeah. That's exactly where I was. And when I heard of rent-to-rent SA, like I said, I was almost skeptical, and I wanted to get involved just to see if it's true. Yeah. So at this point, I was near enough desperate. I'd like to do something more in my life. So risk was not a problem for me at that point in time. I was happy to try the risk, and it turned out it completely changed my life for the better. So that's when I got started into it in end of 2018, and I haven't looked back since.
So what was it that you were doing before?
I was in IT. So I did IT, security, networking, and before that, again, I didn't like it, even though it sounds great, and it was a good job to, the person who likes that. I wasn't passionate about it, though.
Yeah, because anyone listening, IT sounds like a very prominent career.
Yeah, and it is. It can be really good. Cybersecurity at the minute is a massive field to make good money from and things like that. But again, if you're not passionate about it and it's not really who you are, you're going to go down that route of feeling unfulfilled exactly the same as I was. Yeah. And it comes to that point, regardless of the money you're making, regardless of how good the job is. Yeah. If that core thing is just itching where it's not you, then you come to that crossroads. You either do something about it or you carry on living your life down there, and then the cycle goes on and on down the rabbit hole, as they say, and then it goes even worse. So I was fortunate, I acted on that feeling of unfulfillment, and again, never looked back, and it's gone from strength to strength in the property business.
Are you fulfilled now?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's always levels. There's always
Obviously.
levels, and that's a good thing. You know, it's easy to think I'm not where I want to be. I need more. I need more. I need more. And don't get me wrong, I used to be like that, and sometimes I still that creeps in because, and that's normal. It's
Mm.
natural, especially when you're trying to grow and build. But genuinely, my version of success, right, it changes, and it should change. But at that time, it was to work for myself, come out of the rat race, and I did that. And the feeling of fulfillment went through the roof when I finally did it. It was like that was a big thing for me. So now it's about growing and growing and growing and trying to get to the next thing while still being happy, enjoying the process, and being fulfilled at the time, not getting down because you're not where you want to be. It's
Yeah.
non-existent. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to get down over it. It's a challenge. It's a positive thing.
That was the question I was going to ask you actually. What was the definition of success? And I'm glad you answered it that
Oh
way.
right, okay, yeah.
Because of we're called the Diaries of Success, right?
It makes sense. Yeah.
And everyone's journey is completely different to another, and that's what makes us unique. We don't believe in something called the success formula, or
Mm.
this is how you get to success. No.
It's dynamic. It's dynamic. Things always change. We have different periods in our lives where we have different reasons for success and definitions of success. So when I was younger, like most people, I don't know about you,
Yeah.
but it was about money, 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 money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when you get certain amounts of money, I mean,
Now
nowhere
what?
near a millionaire, right? But from the trajectory, it's looking pretty good. But
Mm.
I've managed to get the car of my dreams, for example, and you enjoy it for the first few months, right? And then after that, this has only happened not too long ago, maybe a year ago. I got the car that I've always wanted,
What is
which is
it?
a
What is
Range
it?
Rover.
Oh.
And then after you love it for a few months, and
Mm.
then after that, it's like, really, is this what it is? Is this
Yeah.
really what it is? So that concept, that within the last year, my definition of success then changed because I'm no longer. I'll go after the things because it's a good challenge, but that's not going to define me whether I get the big house or the next car because I now
Yeah.
know through experience that feeling of having it, enjoying it, but then
Yeah.
thinking, is this it? Is this it? It's going to be the same. So why focus on those things? Instead, focus on growing, being happy, building your business, taking care of your people, and ultimately living the best life on your own terms. That's the definition of success for me now.
So it doesn't stop. Technically, it still continues. You're happy with where you are, but you're craving for more because life continues.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whenever we get to that moment, obviously, we want our eyes get open to things that we didn't
Yeah,
see before.
yeah.
And I liked what you said about money. Okay, yes, I want money, but that's not necessarily the definition of success, because the way people perceive money is different. And when we don't have it, it's then when we're like, oh, it's just because you have money. But once you get it, you understand that it's not just all about it.
100%.
So
Yeah.
so let's talk about money a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it the root of all evil, as they say?
No, it's not. It's not. People are people, whether they've got money or not. So there's evil people who are broke, who haven't got any money, and there's evil people with money, right? So it's not. That's just a tool. It's just, in my opinion, obviously, right? So that's just a tool that brings out more of you. So if you've got more money and you're a horrible person, you're probably
Yeah.
be more horrible.
Yeah.
But it's not, in my opinion. It's a tool that can be used for good or bad, and in the right hands, it can do great things.
And why are people then scared to talk about money, or they feel like, oh, people who have money are just too much about themselves or too big-headed, or why is it taboo in the UK?
Yeah, it is. It's taboo in the UK. It could be other places. I mean, I've not spoke with Europeans and things like that to
Well,
see
in
what
the
they
US,
think.
in the US, people are openly
They're a lot
speaking
more
about
open. Yeah,
money.
for sure. But in terms of, why is it a taboo subject? From my experience, it's because people don't have it, so they don't understand it, and therefore can't have a full concept of the subject to be open to it. It's also easier to just say people with money are evil because they haven't got it. And again, I've been broke. I've been absolutely broke. So I understood that you can't think like that from a young age. It's about being mature as well. Not saying that people who don't have money aren't mature, but when you can grasp the concept of having money
Yep.
versus not, you can kind of gauge a bigger picture. That ultimately leads us to being more open. But there's nothing wrong with talking about money, right? It's part of the way that we have to live. It's part of culture. It's you live by having money. I mean, why would we not want to talk about it?
Yeah, the world circulates around
Yeah,
it. I mean,
and especially people who are actually going after the good. This is the more worrying thing, right? The people who are trying to go after the goals and grow the business. There's a lot of people who are scared to talk about money who are trying to grow the business. So how are we ever going to grow your business if you're scared to talk about money? I can kind of understand. I can understand because I was obviously broke years ago, having that certain thing. I don't want to talk about money. I was there, but I grew out of that because I knew I needed to understand it and be around it and talk about it to grow out when I did. But business owners who are scared to talk about money, you're in trouble.
Just remembered Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
That guy doesn't stop talking about money,
Yeah,
does
yeah.
he?
There's probably a borderline, going overboard is a bit too much, but you've got to have that conversation about it. You're definitely going to have that conversation if you're a business owner when it comes to the end of year accounts.
Yeah.
So you better get used to it, so it's a concept that we've got to be open to, and then especially if you want more.
Thank you. I'm enjoying this.
You're making me starting to rant.
Well, it's just a casual conversation.
I love a good rant.
In your business, On Point, let's talk about that. What you guys do at On Point. I know it's not just yourself.
Yeah. I have a business partner, Reese. So essentially what we do, we've been doing it for just over 4 years now. So we've been through the good, bad and the ugly and the unexpected, COVID, the rest of it.
Tell me about that.
But we essentially specialise in rent-to-rent service accommodation sourcing, service accommodation management, and then we also have our Empire system, which is the mentorship program, where we go over all the 5 pillars, how to start A to Z to build your rent-to-rent business ultimately, and then do great things like this and live life on your own terms. That's the goal, right?
So which one is your favorite? Like which branch?
Yeah.
If you don't want to say it, your business partner is looking.
Yeah, he'll have his own opinion, no doubt. But for me, it's a toss-up between the mentorship and the management.
Okay.
The reason for that is, I look, as you are as well, you love helping people, so the training's definitely up there.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this before, it's great helping people, but you can't help people unless you've done it yourself and lived it.
Yeah.
So truly living it and then helping someone else get that you can't buy that, right? That's a massive give back thing. But again, you've got to live it first. You've got to get yourself right before you can help others. But with that being said, management, that's the thing that really made us. So it's tough. Management is like the part of the business that when we nailed that and got the systems right, processes correct, we was able to scale. And then that's when, we was able to pull out to then help the people in training. So it's really tough, but I would have to say slightly the management, because that's what really made the business for us to then help people.
So management, mentoring, then sourcing?
Yeah, sourcing, don't like it, not going to lie. Money's great, but yeah, it's not fun. You have to, but at the same time, that it's big cash. If you're charging $3,000 a deal, it's really good for the cash flow for your business. So it's highly recommended for someone starting out to do that first, especially with little money.
Yeah,
that's what's going to build the cash flow. Then you can invest in rent to rent, for example, get your own properties to then get the cash flow monthly there, and then build that way. It's exactly what we kind of did. So yeah, it's a journey. It's one that I wouldn't change for the world. The amount of experience that's been gained in these last 4 years through the crap. Yeah. We are allowed to swear. I did ask you as well. So, we're allowed to swear because it will come out. But yeah, I've been through some crap for the last 4 years, and that experience you can't buy. COVID, we've now got the energy crisis, trying to scale a business in a pandemic. It's tough enough as it is. So
just feels the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just feels like.
Yeah. But getting through that process of the pandemic and then scaling through it as well, the amount of confidence, the amount of self-belief, the amount of backing that you've got for yourself through going through that is, again, you can't buy that. You can't buy these kind of experiences. So going through it, you kind of feel unstoppable, but you've got to still be humble at the same time, knowing that you're only human, knowing that you're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes, like we discussed earlier. You make mistakes, but going through that will build you as well, backed with a natural, personal self-belief as well, like we've discussed, personal development, linked with actually doing something in business, makes you unstoppable, right? So then you can really scale and grow to what you want to do, take over the world, right?
Absolutely. Well, look, you just said mistakes.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what's the biggest mistake you've made that has taught you quite lots?
Biggest mistake for me is way before business, and it's not doing it sooner, taking the plunge sooner, but then at the same time I almost had to go to that low point to slingshot and go forward.
And you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, and timing's everything as well. So I've done businesses before on point, smaller businesses, clothing businesses, e-commerce, things like that.
Yeah.
But network as well, not getting around the right people, good people, is a massive mistake I made in my younger years. So that's probably number one. Now I understand the importance of network. So being around good people, seeing how they operate, seeing what they've done, because it rubs off on you. Iron sharpens iron, as they say. And what was also, so before I rant on more, network is probably the biggest one, and not getting a bigger network when I was younger. I truly believe I'd be miles ahead if I got the right people, mentorship, that kind of stuff. But what I would say is, and what's really interesting is, being around a lot of successful people, they're just the same as us. They're just the same as us. And that was eye-opening as well.
That's true, right?
Yeah. They will know more. They will have more experience and more skills in certain fields, which is absolutely fine because they've been through it. But they're just people like us. And that is a massive confidence booster as well. Like, I can do it. I just need to learn. I just need to go through the process.
I used to feel like that as well. I mean, the first time I had a mentor, I'm like, oh my God, he's talking to me. Oh my God, he's giving me time. He's helping me through these hardships. And then once I got to know them and just be around them, yes, they have probably more responsibilities than I do.
Yeah.
They probably have, they know more than I do, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just, they're human beings. So I'm just being, hanging around them. That's what they say. Your network is your network. It's who you know. You're the average of 5 people you hang around with.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. And I believe it 100%. But they're just people.
Circle of influence, really.
Circle of influence. And so now it's about, okay, how do I get around more people? And this is why networking is good. That's how obviously we've followed each other on social media before, but face-to-face meeting at a network event recently. And again, that's what it's all about, being around good people.
So how often do you go to networking events? What do you do?
What, at the networking events? Well, I've been to a few in the last year. I really want to focus on that, especially after the pandemic, really, meeting good people. Because social media, it's crazy. Yeah. You post on social media, and then I went to a network event and then bumped into you, and it's like, oh, wow. So you start seeing people in face who you might have interacted with online, and that's crazy in itself. So I want to do more of that. At a networking event, the main thing is to learn. So I always want to get value from them.
Right.
And then also just to meet new people ultimately, and hopefully bump into people that we've networked with on social media and make it a physical thing as well. Yeah. I never go to networking events with an expectation. That's what I've learned, because you always get let down because it's always too high and then it falls. And I never go to networking to try and sell anything, because I'm only there to build relationships, because that's what goes further. So they're kind of what I take into an event, and just see how it pans out ultimately.
Yeah, because so many people who don't know what to do at a networking event. They just come like, okay, I'm going to a networking event, but now what am I looking for? What am I doing? I've had there was a property event I went to last week, and I have had someone I can call a friend now. She's my mentee, and she's been wonderful. She's acquired some properties, and she's doing great. And she's like, Hajar, but I don't know. How am I going to speak to them? What am I going to say? Who am I? I said, just be yourself.
Yeah, just be yourself.
You're a good person. You're a funny person. you're good to be around. You have properties that you can speak about. You're running, you're managing these properties. Just talk about who you are and what you do.
That's really important. Just to add on to that, so going to a networking event, as you've said, when you've done the work, I'll break it down into both versions. When you haven't done the work, or you haven't got anything behind you, then of course you're going to think like that. So in those situations, you just go there to learn. And then people might speak to you and then try and learn from them. So there might be speakers on the stage. Definitely go to learn from them. Anyone who comes up to you, see what they do and build your network.
Yeah.
If you have got something behind you, if you've built your business a little bit and you've got your experience, the way I look at it is like, I like to think of myself, I can walk into any room now because I've been through the fire and I've built something. So regardless, I mean, again, it's not an egotistical thing. You've gone through the fire. So you have a certain set of values, skills, and experience that you can take into any room. So if someone does ask you a question, you've done this, this, and this, and hopefully you'll build a network relationship with them as well. But always go there to learn. That's my number one thing, especially when people are on the stage, as opposed to like a pure networking event where you're just speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely love networking. It's just the introduction to new people is really what I want to do, because like I said, one of the biggest things that I did at the beginning was having no network. So this is super important for me. So
now people know you, they come to speak to you, and that's beautiful to see, because it shows that you're doing something right. So let's tap into mentoring.
Yeah.
You've been a mentor for a few years.
Just about 18 months mentoring.
Yeah.
So running the business for 4 years, last 18 months branched out into mentoring,
And I like how you actually learned the system, done it yourself, made every mistake in the book, and then went on and helped others to do it. What type of fulfillment it gives you?
Yeah, it's massive. It really is massive, because here's the thing, right? So before the mentoring, was managing your own rent-to-rent SAs, then would manage other people, so landlords and other investors.
Yeah.
The goal there was to, and still is, because we're still doing it, is to make money for the client so they can achieve their goals. So, for example, again, mine was to come out of the rat race, 9 to 5. A lot of people who invest in rent-to-rent SA, it's the same. So they want to live life more on their terms, and rightly so. We don't want to be stuck in the rat race. So by managing the properties, creating the cash flow, it's to help them achieve their goals with the cash flow to do what they want. When it comes to the training and mentoring, it's literally about helping clients to build their business from the ground up. So the roadmap, and seeing where they transition from. I mean, some people who join the mentorship, they've already got properties. They just need to know better systems and frameworks. But for people starting out afresh, just the trajectory and to where they are started and where they are at the end of it, or even through it, that's super fulfilling, because you see the knowledge building, you see the confidence growing, and ultimately when the results come as well, that's massive as well, because it's about helping people achieve the goals. And like I said before, I wouldn't have the power to be able to tell someone how to do it if I haven't done it.
Yeah. Do you see this happening quite a lot in
all the time?
I've personally seen it.
Yeah, all the time. And it's about having a personal brand. It's about documenting the process.
Yeah.
It's about showing up and showing what you've done, even the mistakes, documenting them as well.
Yeah.
And over time, people will see you, notice you, and watch you, and then eventually, if they align to you and like you, then they contact you, they'll message you. But yeah, there's a lot of people who have got one property, and I'm not going to rant too much about it, but they've got one property, think they're a guru, and it's like, okay, well, how long have you done it for, and what have you done? And they, like we spoke before, there's a couple of important things that you'd want to kind of consider and ask before you go into invest in mentorship.
And call yourself a mentor. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I totally agree with you, because I've seen that happening as well. Like someone who has 1-2 properties and then they call themselves a guru. I mean, it's the length of how long you've been doing things, and the credibility you have as well. And it might not be good for you because you don't know everything. and
Yeah,
haven't seen the hardship. So if someone comes to you with a problem that you have not seen, how are you going to help them through that?
exactly. Yeah,
So yeah, well, I love mentoring. I'm a mentor myself, and we
yeah,
have over hundreds of properties, both of us.
yeah,
Um, so how was it when you started learning it? What was the challenges that you have gone through the property industry?
yeah. We've been through so much
Like-
crap, uh, because we were self-taught. We didn't understand the power of mentoring at the very beginning of the journey, so we was just doing it off our own back, our own accord, and going through all the mistakes as you do, right?
yeah.
So the worst thing was, for example, our first rent to rent SA, we had a drainage problem and it was leaking all over the floor,
Oh my God.
and it was a bank holiday as well. So I was out. I was out on the town having some drinks, etc. Right, and then I get the call from the building management to say the property's flooded. You need to get this sorted. And again, we had no maintenance people at the very beginning because what do I know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm stuck. Bank holiday. There's ringing around maintenance people. There isn't any. It's above a Sainsbury's. This property, right?
Oh
It
my
was going
God.
through the
Oh my
Sainsbury's,
God.
and the Sainsbury's were kicking off, and I was like, wow, what have I got myself into here? So the mistake was, not having people on hand, not having maintenance people
Power team.
screened, ready to go. Your power team, a good people around you, a good network again, and then ultimately better systems. So now where I'm at, I think to myself, why was I ever handling those calls from guests, from building management? So there is a process though. You've got to do it. We were saying earlier on, at the beginning of the business, you're doing every job.
Yeah.
But now I think, how was I ever doing all those things? So a big mistake was not outsourcing quicker as well.
Yeah. I'm a victim of that too.
Yeah, it's money, right? I expect you running a small business. When you outsource, you've got to pay someone. So you don't necessarily might not want to do that at the beginning. So you think, I'll do it all. I'll do it all. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Crash.
Yeah.
You have no. I nearly had a bloody breakdown in COVID, just at the beginning of COVID, but then sometimes you need that to then go up again.
To be fair, to me, it was that and also a trust issue.
Yeah.
I'm more like, oh, it's my baby, it's my business. I can't trust everyone with these kind of things, So I'm trying to do everything. No, I can still handle it. I can still handle it. I can do the viewings myself. I can do the check-ins for the guests myself. I can handle the cleaning team myself, all the admin, all the referencing, the deposit, everything.
Because I'm the best at it. That's the perception anyway, right?
That's how I used to feel.
Yeah.
But it was so draining. It was so hard to see everything else. And then it affects your personal life as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Your personal life becomes very stressed. You don't want to talk to people. People don't want to talk to you. And you're just running right, left, and center. You want to take more properties, but you can't. So it becomes hard for you to scale. And then for you to prove things to yourself, you start taking properties and then you might fuck up sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was hard. It was hard. But then I had to get someone to do things.
Yeah.
And I slowly started letting go. And that's the best thing I have seen, honestly, like outsourcing and replacing myself. And I always say it, my team might not be doing the best, or maybe sometimes they're doing better than I am doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're doing a little bit worse than I could.
You're the business owner. You're always going to see where they're doing a crap job and where they could improve.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is the trust thing. To let go, because it is your baby. It's something that you care about.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to be passionate as much as us as business owners.
Yes. When their shifts finishes, they're finished, right?
Yeah.
There is we don't have any shift.
This is not a 9 to 5, is it? This is not a 9 to 5.
How about you? When it came to you running a team, when it came to you outsourcing, what was the challenges that you found? And what is it that you said, at that moment, I need to replace myself in this, and that?
Yeah. Well, at the moment when I knew I needed to change, it was when it was in COVID. It was at the very beginning of COVID. It was managing at this point. We had about 15 to 17 properties and I was doing it all myself. And I thought to myself, and I'll never forget, right? After managing 17 properties, for majority of them for other clients and landlords.
Yeah.
We made a net profit, right? And this is going out, I don't mind saying it, £250 net profit in I think it was the March.
250
Yeah.
pounds.
£250 profit.
1,000, you mean?
No, £250 profit. That's it. Net profit. So gross, it would have been more,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Obviously.
yeah.
And I thought to myself, I am doing all this work. I'm dealing with all these guests, all the problems, all the cleaning teams, and we've made that. And we've got 17 properties. Now, I was ready to jack it in. I was ready to jack the management side in and focus on sourcing. And I thought, hang on a minute, let me just take a step back. I know the season we're in, because it's about being self-aware as a business owner, and knowing what season you're in. And I thought, okay, this is shocking. I've had to put all this work in and made nothing, basically. But before COVID, we were smashing it. It was doing really, really well. So take a step back. We're in a bad season here. I need to grind through this season.
Yeah.
But how do I do it without losing my hair or having a breakdown? So I said, now's the time to outsource. What am I doing, Shaun? Like, what am I really doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing all this. It's too much. I've got a family at home. I've got, I didn't have a son at this point. I have now. But yeah, I was thinking, I want to do these things. I want to live my life. I want to enjoy it. I'm just creating another job. It's worse than when I was in 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So that was the time I had to delegate, and I did that. And it took a bit of a time because there's teething issues. So coming on to like the problems I had with that, it was the trust thing like you've experienced. It's massive because it's our baby. And it was the teething issues with. At that point, we didn't have any kind of framework in place for the properties.
Yeah.
So I knew the properties up here. I knew where the boiler's located. I know where all this is. The VAs didn't have a clue. And they can't go out and see it because some of them are in the Philippines. We've got others in different parts of the UK who deal with the guests. So then I had to go through that teething problem of going around all the properties and getting videos and documents, all the stuff. We had little things, but nothing in depth.
Yeah.
So the goal was, and again, that's a massive learning curve, which benefited the business. So that's not really a negative.
Yeah.
It felt like a time because there's so much work, but I had the time because COVID, so it was actually a good thing. So yeah, those two things were really tough, but the things that I took on board and learnt during that time.
But it's a one-off thing that you've done, right? Like taking video, like a house tour of the property, and then now your VAs know exactly how the property looks like.
Yeah.
They know exactly where the boiler is situated. They know exactly where the fuse board is, how many rooms there is, and how it actually looks like.
Yeah.
It's a one-off thing that you've done. Put it in a drive. They all have access to it, and then every time there is an issue, it's them they
exactly, yeah. So the guests call them. They have a great understanding of where the boiler is or where the fuse box is, that kind of stuff. And it is a one-off thing. So now, again, the positive out of that is me at one point was on about, quitting, jacking it in. Next thing, we've outsourced, delegated, and our frameworks and systems are just so much better. So that enabled us to then scale as well at a quick rate.
Well, I want to thank you because that was really brave to share.
No problem. It's about being open, right? This is the journey.
Yeah.
We all have our own journey, and that was part of ours. So not a problem.
It's really, really, really brave. So thank you again. We have gone like this now in the episode. So I want to lift the spirit a little bit up.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. There is a game.
Yes, the infamous game.
That's what we do. We make sure our guests, have a little bit of an uncomfortable moment. I hope you're a good singer.
Oh, no, I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Ah, shame. I've got some things for you. And it's the game we're going to play for this episode. I've chosen a couple of pictures for you.
Okay.
Baby pictures of not necessarily celebrities, but people who are known. And let's try and see if Shaun will recognize any of these people.
Let's do it.
And if you don't, then you'll have to sing.
Oh, right, okay.
All right, I'll start with...
Pressure's on.
I'll start with the easiest.
Please, yeah.
So I hope you're a good singer. Oh, before we do that, let me explain to our audience. This is the Diaries of Success. It is where we bring you the best of the guests in the UK and maybe in the future outside of the UK. So make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Make sure you let us know where you're tuning in from, where you're following us from. If you have any questions for Shaun, leave them down in the comment section down below. We try to bring him back for in the second season. Why not? So you're tuning into the Diaries of Success, and if you have any questions, anything, follow us on all our social media as well. It's Hajar Bayaz, The Growth Hack, Diaries of Success on all platforms. On TikTok, yes, we are on TikTok, duh. On Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So without any further ado, let's see the best of Shaun singing.
Oh, let's do it. Pressure is on. Right.
So I'm going to start with the easiest one.
Please.
Okay. All right. So let's see if you recognize this person.
Oh, that's Will Smith.
That's Will Smith.
Yes,
okay,
1 for 1.
There you go. 1 for 1. Beautiful. Now let's see if you can recognize more. I'm gonna have them on the projectors where you're gonna find them a little bit around here. The pictures. Okay.
Oh no. Oh no, wait.
Do you have another picture of her?
Yeah. Have you got another picture of the same?
Yes, of the same person. She's very well known. US celebrity. She's done wonders. She loves helping people.
Oh no. So that's got to be an old picture, right? So she's got to be quite old. Oprah Winfrey. Is it really? Yes.
But you know what? From now, I'm just gonna give you 5 seconds.
Oh, at least I got that one out a bit longer.
You did.
I'm actually proud of myself for that guess. I thought that was quite. It's the old picture, and then I was initially thinking Serena Williams for some reason, but I thought that picture's way too old for that, and I just guessed. So that is a lucky one.
Right. Okay. Let's see.
Oh no, it's getting harder. I need to see it closer.
This is an easy one.
That's not easy at all. Oh no, that's not easy. I don't know. Can you give me English or American?
She's English. She's English. But if I tell you, then you're gonna know. 5, 4.
Oh, the person
3,
of Harry Potter. I don't know her name.
2.
Pass.
1. Okay, so let's hear your best singing. You can rap.
Happy birthday to you. That's it.
Really?
Cut that, please. Cut that.
That was the worst thing. Really?
Yeah, that's all I've got. I'm sorry.
I've had someone singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
That's got to be worse than that.
Happy birthday.
It's got to be worse than Happy Birthday. I mean, that's all I've got, guys. Sorry.
Next one has to be a real song.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so,
That looks recognisable face as well. Oh, no. Why is this so difficult when the pressure's on? Oh. Oh, no.
5, 4, 3. She's a singer.
Shakira.
2. No.
No.
1. It's Ariana Grande.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Choose a song for me. Otherwise, I'll sing Twinkle, Twinkle.
Please don't. Please don't. No nursery rhymes. Not allowed. What's your favorite genre?
You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. That's I forgot the words. Pressure's on.
No, come on. We have Chris laughing at the
I'll take you to the candy shop. I'll let you lick the lollipop.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave you 2 there. 2 short ones.
Okay, next one. You must know this one. It's not a hard one. UK.
Oh, is it UK?
Yep.
Stephen Bartlett.
How did you know that? No.
I think it's his mouth.
Cheating.
I think it's the mouth. Yeah. I don't know. It just Stephen Bartlett.
Chris, did you tell him about this?
Does that mean I don't have to sing this round?
You don't have to. Oh. I'm not happy. see if we recognize this one.
Andrew Tate.
Ah, all
Yeah,
the way.
Andrew Tate, the top
All
G.
the way. Top G.
Ooh. Can I get a? Is it you? That's got to be American, hasn't it?
Yeah, US.
Oh, who is that?
Business.
It's
5.
going to sound really silly. It's not Steve Jobs, is it?
No.
No.
4. 3.
I don't know.
Think a little bit harder.
Oh.
2. You have to sing 1. Go on. It's Tony Robbins, by the way.
Oh, yeah. What can I sing? What can I sing? Come on, you need to help me out. What can I sing here?
Beyonce's coming soon.
I can see a halo, halo, halo.
See ya,
Halo,
hello.
halo, halo. That's it. That was the voice at the top. I can't do any more than that.
Last one.
Last one.
Go
Let's
for the
do
last
it.
one.
Let's do it. Oh, that's hard. That's tough.
That's very easy. Someone who's popping up all the time in your feed. Used to be a monk.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you. It's Jay Show.
Yeah?
Oh, I wouldn't have had a clue. It looks really difficult, but thanks for the hint there.
I know. I just wanted to save you from
Yeah, thank you. It was that bad, weren't it? So
I was actually saving our audience from the bad singing.
the views are just going down. Oh, they might be going up actually. Thinking, what is going off here? Jay Show. All right. Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed it.
I'm happy you did. Like everyone in our studio, it's just basically just to have to lift the bar a little bit off.
Uncomfortable.
The pressure.
You got to be uncomfortable, right? You got to be in the uncomfortable zone to grow. So I've grown today. So thank you.
Do you know that's actually so true?
Yeah.
The comfort zone, I like to call it the toxic zone, because
Yeah.
once you are in the comfort zone, you are not going to see any beyond that.
That's where dreams die. In the comfort zone, it's where the dreams die. You know, we've got to be pushing ourselves. Like I was saying earlier with the risk thing, in 9 to 5, there comes a point where it's make or break, and you can either be in that toxic zone and stay toxic in your head, or do something about it.
Do you regret anything?
I wouldn't say regret. It's like quite a harsh thing, but there's things that I would have done different. So I would have took action a lot faster if I understood. If I just had more belief, ultimately. You know, I've always been confident and had a belief to a certain level, but there is levels.
Right.
So I should have done more to develop my personal development side of things. I should have done more in my mindset when I was younger and more uncomfortable things to grow the confidence.
Yeah.
I would have done that because I truly believe I
why
would have
is it-
been like on a different level by now. But that's life.
I mean, you look like you're someone who's very confident, and
It takes work. You know, it's not given. I don't think it's born. You're not born with it. It's something that rent is due on every day. So you got to do you got to do things that you say you're going to do. You got to keep the contracts you say to yourself and actually do them instead of not doing them, because that's what builds the self-esteem. 10,000 steps a day, for example. You know, if you can do that consistently,
yeah,
then you're going to get more confident and healthier. If you're trying to build your business and you can do 5 DMs a day to new businesses.
yeah.
If you do that, you're going to see your business grow, and then you get confident.
Yeah.
So it's keeping those contracts with yourself that you say you're going to do, whether it's personal or a business thing, and that builds the self-belief. Because I actually do this. I do this. I am this person. Do you know what I mean?
And do you really care about what others think?
Ultimately, no. But I would be lying if I said every now and then that little voice creeps in, say, "Oh, what if someone thinks that?" But then it automatically is battered. I'll just slap it away. So ultimately, no, I don't. But I would be lying if I said that little thought doesn't come in every now and then. But there's a process for that, and you get rid of that, and you don't allow that to stay in your head by doing the things that keep your confidence high and your self-belief high, whatever that is for you. So yeah, ultimately, no.
Yeah. Have you ever doubted yourself?
Oh yeah, yeah. COVID was a big one. In COVID, is this business going to work? I believed in the model, rent to rent, SA, believed in the business because it worked before. I was
Yeah.
demonstrating I could do it. But then when COVID came along, it's like, can it sustain through a
The
global
hardships.
pandemic? Is this possible?
Yeah.
And again, ultimately, I managed to maneuver, innovate, and think of different things to get through, which then backed up the confidence, self-belief again. It's all a circle, right? So
Yeah.
it's about being innovative as well. But yeah,
Beautiful.
I definitely did. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So in terms of Shaun, who
Yeah.
was, I know you're now 22, 23 years old, right? So
Oh, yeah.
the 5-year-old Shaun.
35, 25.
So the 5-year-old Shaun, if he's sitting right there next to you, what would you say?
Oh, what a great question. Be the man that you know that you can be. Be the king that you are. You know, be the person that you want to be. And ultimately, like you said on your previous question, don't let anyone sway you, get in your head, believe in yourself. You can achieve anything, and they're the very same things that I will and will tell my son, and continue to tell him, because I never had that. You know, no discredit to my parents or anything like that, but you don't know what you don't know, right? So they didn't know that kind of stuff. But the power in words is unbelievable. So affirmations, that kind of stuff, but without being too woo-woo-y, you know, what you say to yourself and how you talk to yourself will play the ultimate factor in the actions that you take.
Wow. I've heard something, I think I've shared it on my story the other day. It was your parents want the best for you, but they don't necessarily know what's the best for you.
They want to protect you. That they want you to do well, but the level of protection, and I know this for experience from having my own son, I've felt that level of protection.
Yeah.
You want your kids to be fully protected, and as a byproduct, any risk adverse kind of things are secondary. You don't really want them to do that as such, but again, it's understanding that to get somewhere in life, you're going to have to risk, and you want the best for them, and you want to protect them as well. So it is the protection thing which outweighs the risk, in my experience from my parents. How about yourself? Is that kind of what you've witnessed? Because it's like, why don't they want the best for you, right? But they don't understand.
Yeah.
To an extent.
To be fair, I used to have, I used to be in a job.
Yeah.
A 9-to-5 job, and I had security.
Yeah.
And my family is back home. They're all in Algeria. And my mom used to think that I was still employed.
Right.
When I decided that I don't want to work for someone else anymore, I stopped working, and I started focusing just on myself.
Yeah.
Obviously, at that time, I had like a few properties. I think I was like 5 properties. And I said to myself, I'm getting more from my own properties working for myself than I'm getting from a job. So why am I still working for someone else? Knowing that if I work hard, either for them or for myself, the only difference is that where am I going to put all my energy? Is it making someone else rich, or making myself rich, or making someone else successful, or making myself successful? I chose myself. I chose me.
Yeah.
But what my mom, she was always thinking that I still had a job. She didn't know. If I told her, she would go crazy, and she would be, because she's thinking, my daughter is alone in a country that she's not really familiar with.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how it's all in her head, trying to protect me, trying to make sure that I have everything that I need.
Yeah.
Have you eaten? Have you slept well? How many hours of sleep did you have? Did you go to work? Okay, is everything okay? I'm like, Mom, like you don't have to be asking all these questions. But I understand it. I don't have kids on my own, but I do understand.
Yeah.
So I wanted to protect her.
Yeah.
She's probably gonna listen to this.
You don't need to protect me. I'm protecting you.
So for a year, I didn't tell her that I had to quit my job.
Yeah.
And then my lifestyle changed. I started driving a better car. I had a better lifestyle. I started wearing better clothes. I started sending more money to them.
Yeah.
I started doing more charity. So she started noticing all these change in me, and she's like, "So, did you get promoted or anything?" I'm like, "No, mom. It's time for me to tell you. It's my own business that's generating me this." And she's like, "But you still have your job, right?"
Oh, really? Yeah.
So she still couldn't believe it,
Yeah.
even after achieving a lot more than what I was getting. I was at that time.
Have you still got the job?
Have you still got that job? What a
It,
question.
yeah, it's one of those ones where they're genuine. Parents genuinely want the best for their kids, but and even though you're doing better than in the full-time
Yeah.
job, it still is that security there, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
because the risk, it comes down to that risk part again.
Yeah.
But I completely understand it. I get it. What it would have been good of, and this is where you learn to then what I want to give to my kid, hopefully, if I'm still here, right, is just the foundations of
Yeah.
believing in themselves, understanding money, understanding the risk to reward
Yeah.
and the protection. So covering yourself, protecting yourself, and going for it in
Do
life.
you want them to be in property?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. But the way I like to see myself, and especially with the long-term vision, is property is what kind of, because I've done things before property. Property is the thing that really set me up. Being humble enough to know that nothing's promised, anything can happen tomorrow, like another pandemic, you never know.
True.
But I kind of see myself as, someone who's bigger than property. Who knows what the possibilities are? Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Like you do your public speaking, who knows what can happen? That's a different branch to property.
That's true.
There's multiple things that we can do. And again, you've got to believe it, first of all.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? But I would love him to be in property and anything that he loves to do, and then monetize it, because you've got to make sure that you're good first.
Do you think everyone should learn about bricks and mortar?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, understand bigger than that how money works, how the world works. That's what's really important, because when you understand the game, then you can start to move the pieces on the board. Most people, unfortunately, don't even understand the game of life. They're just too consumed with the things that are going on. Again, understandable, because there's a lot of things going on. But understand the game, and then you can start to move the chess pieces on the board accordingly.
Oh, I like that.
As they say.
I like that. So what's the thing that you feel people need to do differently to get to success?
Well, like we've said before, success, there's no one way to get success. Success is different. It's defined different according to different people. Some people don't care about money. That's absolutely fine. People care about time. For me, time's the biggest commodity. So I now base my success around time. So if I was talking to myself 10 years ago or 15 years ago, knowing that time's the ultimate vision, I'd be setting things up, so basically it'd be to take more action and do things that are going to monetize quicker.
Yeah.
Delegate, outsource, pull myself out, live life on my terms. That's basically what the goal is. And I had to go through that process, which took years, because I didn't have the network, as I've said, to find it out myself. As soon as I learned about networking and mentoring, I've invested thousands in mindset coaches and property coaches, marketing coaches, because I have to live what I do as well. That's another important thing for me, going back to the mentorship. If I'm going to give people mentorship, you've kind of got to pay for mentoring as well, so you lived it in that aspect as well as actually doing the thing as well. But all those things bundled up into one big thing.
If someone who wants to start right now in property, what's the first step they should take?
Figure out which one you want to go down. So there's different branches in property, right? Buy to let, rent to rent, HMO, SA, the rest of it, deal sourcing. Figure out which one you're passionate about first, and that will mean dabbling in all of them.
Yeah.
Because then you can get a better understanding as to which one's aligned to you, you're more passionate about.
Yeah.
And then binge free content. So go on YouTube, find all the content on there. That will only get you so far, though, because, free content's great.
Yeah.
But
takes time.
just have the expectation that when you're going into the free content, know that you're probably not going to get the results that you want, because it's easy to not take no action when it's free. So learn all the content as much as you can.
Yeah.
And then the next step would be to get you around the right people, get mentorship, 100%, get the accountability, because that's what a good mentor does. They'll keep you accountable as well as giving you that advanced knowledge and, expertise. That's where the results happen, because you have to, there's a saying, I'm sure you've heard of it, called having skin in the game. You've got to have skin in the game with something. And I know this from first-hand experience, learning things free on YouTube. I'm not interested in being a know-it-all. There's people that know more than me. I can just outsource to them. I'm not interested in knowing everything.
Yeah.
What I'm interested in is getting results. So I've got to make sure that I get skin in the game, learn from people who are a few steps ahead, and then fast track. So I want to get the fast knowledge, implement accountability, results, and that's kind of how I work.
Plus, when you pay attention, right? That's what they say.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah. Skin in the game, those who pay attention. It's just so true, but I can also appreciate at the beginning of people's journey, it's tough to spend, or invest, should I say, money into your business when you're just learning, or you're scared if it's going to work. So this is where the mindset and being around good people helps. But what I've kind of learned, and as you've said, you're going to get the results when you've put both feet in the door, not just dabbling. There's a time for that at the beginning, and then you've got to commit, and that's usually, you've got to commit financially as well. When you know that you're in it financially, that's usually when people get the results, because money's real. Apparently real anyway.
Well, it's true, because the first thing you want is at least to get your money back. And while you're working to get your money back, you realize that, hold on a second, I can actually duplicate that. Why am I just making my money back, whereas I can actually make more?
It's a limiting belief, right? Everyone's focused on, and rightly so, understandably, wanting that money back. What about the possibilities? What about the things that can happen? So, again, at the beginning of the journey, all these things are almost foreign, though. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like, I just want to try and get out of my job, let alone make 10 grand a month. But these are the genuine possibilities if you surround yourself and take action, and you're accountable to someone. And like I said, I think I was saying it before, it's good to have people and listen to people who are miles ahead, but sometimes they're not relatable. So I look at Elon Musk, for example, and I think to myself, he's clearly a very smart guy. But sometimes when he's talking, he's saying things that would work for people who have teams of 1,000 people, and that would make absolute sense for that person, but it might not make sense to me. So it's important to have people who are maybe just a few steps ahead, who have been through that process where you want to get to on a short to mid-term, and then move from there. That's what it's all about as well, being self-aware of what you want in your business.
I totally agree with you, because I've seen that happen with me as well. I've got my mentor who's, way up there. And it got to a point where sometimes when people come to learn from him, they feel that there is a gap, but it's not his fault, because what he knows is too much for people to digest it.
And he will have his client, of course, no doubt. Like yourself, he'll have his people, because there's at that stage.
But because we're in the middle, there are people who are in the middle. It's easy to burn the bridge and just be like, you know what, I can relate to this, so I know now what he means. So I totally agree with you. There are levels. So start with someone who is just a few steps ahead, or maybe not just a few, a little bit more, because that's what you're aiming to be. That's what you're aspiring to be.
Exactly,
Now, I see you as a great example, as a good mentor as well. So let's talk about what you are offering at On Point Mentoring. Sorry, it's not On Point. That the mentoring is called Empire.
So it's with On Point. The mentorship program's called the Empire System. So got a bit of a ring to it. So the reason why we call that is because we make money from different branches in rent-to-rent service accommodation. So you've got pillar. We go over 5 pillars in the rent-to-rent Empire System mentorship program. A few of them, just to break it down, you've got the sourcing pillar. So we go through all of that, how to source. Coming from a company who's sold well over 100 rent-to-rent SA deals, I like to think I know what I'm on about. But with that being said, things are always changing. You've got to be innovative. You've got to be ahead of the game. how to market yourself online, how to build your personal brand so you can actually start getting clients come to you instead of always trying to go out to get clients and getting ghosted and the rest of it. We also make money and build the management sector of the business. So there's a possibility to do your sourcing, investors come along, source for investors, and then take the properties on the back end and manage them as well. So you're making money on the sourcing and the management, building your portfolio, which will enable you to scale, which is another one of our pillars.
Beautiful.
So yeah, in that process, we go from the roadmap of A to Z of how to do it, just like we've done it as well. So if you want to find out more, then feel free to follow me on social media.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to that. So that's what you're offering. So you're making sure that people know about property and how to do it from A to Z.
Yeah,
that's
essentially.
beautiful.
Yeah, where to source, how to source, what to say.
Yeah.
How to onboard onto management.
Great.
How to run on the platforms like you do with the online travel agencies.
Yeah. How many people have you helped so far?
Over 50 mentees, clients.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
so in the last 18 months. So we're not a company who just take everyone on. I know it's easy to say that as a training company, but we're genuinely not, because we have our own management and sourcing business ourselves. So we do only take a limited on people per month, 3 people a month typically, because it's one-to-one. We've got to make sure that we're giving value.
That they get results.
Exactly, yeah. So we make money, we do well from the sourcing and management.
Yeah.
This training, of course, it's another stream of income. Why not, right? You've got the experience and value.
Sure.
But our business wasn't built on the training. It was built on the sourcing and management. We've still got that to run. So yeah, direct one-to-one support, basically.
Beautiful. So how do we get on the program?
If you want to join the program, then just drop me a message. So you book a call. So essentially, again, we like to speak to everyone before, so be a Zoom call. See what the goals are. See if we can actually help, because some people might not want to do sourcing, for example, might just want to do management, and that's absolutely fine, because we can tailor it. It's bespoke, but they might want to do HMO, and we don't specialize in that. So we just need to find out a bit more about what you're looking to achieve, what your goals are, etc. Go a bit more in depth what we do, because I've just run over it quickly, and then we can get you enrolled, essentially. Yeah.
And you run it all over the UK, right?
Yeah, so it's online based, the mentorship. So we do Zoom calls every week, 2 Zoom calls a week. Got the training platform online, so you can go through it when you want.
Nice.
Yeah, there's loads of content, over 65 videos on there.
Wow.
In-depth videos as well. And again, Q&As in the week, live trainings in the week, and then one-to-one calls as well.
Makes me want to join.
Well, I mean, what we kind of figured is the one-to-one support with the accountability calls.
Yeah.
Accountability is what makes you get results. I touched on it earlier. Knowing it all is no longer good enough. We're in the information age, as they call it, right? So how come so many people are still broke and struggling?
True.
So the information age is completely irrelevant. We can utilize information, but we should be calling this the new action age. It's time to take action, right? So it's no longer about knowing it all. You've got to get around people, and you've got to be held accountable. I think I did read a study not too long ago, and it said something along the lines of 78% of people who were held accountable hit the goal, whatever the goal it was in that experiment.
Yeah.
So that tells me I need to be around people that are going to push me and help me and actually genuinely want me to get there. If I do it on my own, the odds are stacked against me, because I'm probably just going to get a few bad results, not get anywhere, no result, and then fall off, because that's what most people do.
Yeah, because sometimes what I found out is that, and I shared this the beginning of the year, in the 84% of people do give up on their goals. And one of the points that I've mentioned is the accountability. And I think you're so right, because sometimes it's easy to let ourselves down. It's myself. It's okay. I'm going to forgive myself. But if you hold me accountable, I don't want to let you down.
Yeah, there's more than me. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And the flip side of what you just said there, it's okay, I can do it tomorrow. The other side to that is beating yourself up. So, oh, I didn't do this today. Oh, I'm no good. Oh, I'm just going to leave it. No result again. So that's even worse because you're making your own confidence go down. You're identifying as someone who doesn't achieve things. And then not only is your business gone, but you also feel crap as a person as well. So it's just, you've got to be super careful how you go into the world, the big bad world, because it's tough out here. It's really tough. And having good people around you who are going to keep you accountable is the game changer.
Well, thank you so much, Shaun.
No problem.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here at the Diaries of Success. So we are going to put a link tree in the description box down below. But for the people who are listening to us throughout the podcast platforms, how do we get in touch with you? What's your @ on Instagram or TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, all of the main ones. So just follow me on any of the platforms, Sean Collie UK, and I'll be on there straight away. So yeah, feel free to connect and to speak to you and see what your goals are.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this. It was really fun.
Yeah, it's been really quick. I've enjoyed it. I mean, the singing was uncomfortable, but I had to go in the stretch zone today on the podcast. Why not? If you're going to do it somewhere, you've got to do it in the depths, in the trenches, right? Why not?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
so
so
much.
much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. Well, if you want to see more people like Shaun, tell us in the comment section, who do you want to see next? Who's the guest you want us to bring? Let us know. We make sure we contact them. We bring them in this studio. Until the next episode, that was Hajar Biaz from the Diaries of Success. Take care and make sure you live your best life.